if there's someone that's very, very young, might be really religious and like values marriage a lot and goes into a marriage and has kids when they're like 18, 19, 20, and then a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From
Would
who?
you, from both?
This is so rare.
Anyone
So
really.
rare.
I mean, it happens.
Go
I'm
on,
just-
go on.
My point is, I'm
Hypothetically.
just, even though it might be rare from what you guys think,
It is. Go on.
if it would happen, what would you recommend for those people to do? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going.
You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing. You can like separate. See, his Catholic background shines through. He knows. You can't. You can separate, but you can't actually divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive?
You got to endure. People are too.
You want to stick in the
People
relationship?
are
Is it
just.
called-
I mean, look,
people
I'm gonna be
nowadays
honest.
are just pussy.
But have you seen what he said? He says, on which side?
a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From who?
Would you, from both?
All the YouTube channels that I've seen talking about this, they only talk about the physical part from the man's side. I'm not saying that I'm advocating for man go gangster, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Dragon Ball, bam, 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 bam. I'm not saying that. But the amount of people focusing on the other side, which I totally disagree with, I would never normalize that. Somebody reacted in an aggressive way and something might have happened, that would tell you I have seen that happen. But the fact that we see it as a normal thing, that you have a lady that has to put gangster glasses to cover the eyes or something like that, I don't think, in my experience, I've seen churches normalizing that.
Quits. Everybody gives up. It's too hard. I'm this XYZ. This is why I'm special, so I can up this entire situation based upon me being special. And the reality is people just haven't learned to endure. There have been hard times in relationship. I'm sure you guys had hard times in relationship. Any relationship has hard times. And it
Okay.
is what it is. You need to push through and you need
What if
to
the
endure
kid
because
is
we're in
getting
this
abused?
hold on. Because we're in this situation now, like where everybody's just creating this like super nuanced like 1% example of like, well, what if the kid's fucking transgender, black, and abused and he's a Black Lives Matter supporter? Like, cool, okay, I get like that one
No,
minute
but I'm asking
situation.
for anyone that might be in that situation, what would you recommend?
Okay,
Do you think
endure.
that-
When people see something is not effective, they're gonna do something to be sure. You don't endure it because you're comfortable, because you're uncomfortable, and then you're gonna have those ping pong and these emotional backstabbing stories and things that you told them in secret, and suddenly, bam! I'm like, the endure is such a broad solution that it makes no sense. So endure is so broad. Of course, they're gonna be like, oh, so you're normalizing gangster bada beam Hulk effect? I'm like, come on, man. It's weird. I do have to admit, she brought a very good point. I would never normalize specific things and disagreement in front of a kid. If a kid's consider that normal, I think that is very bad. Because I've helped kids that have experienced such things, and it sucks. It really sucks. I know one person personally that had a situation like that. She started beating him, and he reacted. And he reacted wrong. And he admitted it. I said, you shouldn't have done that. Now the brother's gonna beat you up. And you need to just move out of that place. Never do it again. But the next time you need to find a way to control yourself. Or let me know somebody is making you go crazy. And I helped him. And he calmed down. And now he's in a relationship many years later. And everything is Gucci. So they're still together. No blue eyes or nada. And I was surprised he did something like that. But what he told me, I said, I understand what you meant. But when that was happening, you should have gotten out a long time ago. I told him you shouldn't endure that. And the fact that you did that, that's why you reacted. Because you would never endure half or a quarter of what she did to you. Because you would hit me.
If my daughter was in a relationship with a guy and she gets married to him and he starts abusing her a
Kill the
year
guy.
into it, I'm gonna be showing up on their doorstep and teaching him some lessons.
Exactly.
That's what I would do. I
Okay,
also would
but,
not if I didn't have the capacity to do that for some reason, I don't know, I wouldn't want my daughter in that situation, quite frankly. And I understand the argument to endure because I have people close to me who grew up in abusive households and it lasted for periods of time and it was a phase and they endured through it and they ended up raising healthy, successful families.
Which I think he means not that gangster, not that physical, not that emotional, other than the nuance that they keep mentioning. That's why I think they're defending something totally different from both sides, which was the question that she said.
A year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From
Would
who?
you, from both?
But in my experience, when we tell somebody to endure something, it's not because they are on their own and by. No, these are literally people in a specific community. We hold people accountable. We usually eat dinner together, and we're talking about a reaction at a specific moment that we already handled. I would never tell somebody, just keep getting that. He's having a bad moment at his job. It will be okay. No, 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 no.
Extreme example that I can't give a prescription for what other people should do. There is an element of
How do you guys feel
value.
about
Hold on. There is an element of value in what he's saying, but all I can tell you is what I would do as,
How do you guys feel
as
about?
a
Do you
father
guys
of
all
a
have
daughter in a
opinions about
situation like that.
Do you have opinions about third trimester abortion?
It's
Yes.
terrible.
Listen, it's
Okay,
terrible.
look at how quickly you can debate it. Do you know how rare third trimester abortions are? They're also really
Yeah,
fucking
they
rare. But
are.
you immediately had a visceral reaction to that.
I don't think anybody on this table, if you would ask them, hey, if you know a friend that's coming home every time drunk and your friend, your girlfriend is saying, yo, he's beating me, bada bing, bada boom. I don't think you're going to tell, hey, endure is just a phase. Because the moment it can actually affect your life, most people that I know in the church would say, no way. There's no way in the Bible it's going to tell you, just stick it through and hope you don't die. Keep praying.
Marry, okay?
Please.
What about if two people get married, they have a kid, and then the wife starts cheating? Do you think they should divorce?
Absolutely.
They should
Yeah.
divorce then?
Jesus himself
You don't
said.
think
But it wasn't
Jesus,
illegal.
hold on.
Adultery.
Jesus
And you
himself
could like
said.
work things through, right?
Jesus himself said in cases of adultery, divorce is
So you think that
permissible.
divorce is worse than physical abuse?
For the
Or
children?
cheating, sorry. You think that
Cheating
cheating
is
is worse than physical abuse?
For the
Sorry.
children, yes.
Absolutely
I think I'm not. Gonna,
So here I think it went a little off the rail because hey, if you're going to suggest, hey man, if they're beating you up, get a divorce, officially that isn't in the Bible. The Bible just says treat the person like an angel. So officially by breaking that rule, but doesn't suggest what you're supposed to do, you are saying divorce is okay. But then your defense also, in the Bible says if you cheat, I can divorce you. Officially, have you read Mark 10, 2-12, it suggests that Moses was saying like, well, officially divorce is bad, but we are allowing it because people are that stupid. So officially, if you're going to use specific texts in New Testament to suggest if you cheat on me, I should be able to leave you, I can understand that, but it's not the first suggestion because by that knowledge, I can also tell you endure. So I like that Melina did call them out that they look at a specific thing and only if they cheat, you can just stop. Because I remember I went to my pastor once, hey, if a girl cheats on me, I can just leave. And my pastor told me, no, it's not like you can just pick and choose the first rule and quit immediately. Maybe you were a bad husband and she might have cheated because you were a bad husband. You didn't really treat her like a proper angel. So you need the community, you're going to work it together, bada bing, bada boom. But a lot of people like to focus on the text that makes them right. And usually these are the very religious people that don't even understand the Bible. They don't even feel Jesus, but they use it as a justification to be right and feel high and mighty when they don't even feel close to Jesus or God. But hey, that's just my opinion.
I
Issues.
do know conservatives that is
Yeah,
going to
there's
church
fucked
and
up
they
people out
still
there.
abuse their partners.
Physically,
And I'm
Wait,
asking-
wait,
there's
you,
fucked up
wait,
people.
wait,
You
wait,
are
wait,
going
hold on,
to-
hold on.
I'm asking if you're going to stick
So
up
wait,
for
wait,
those
you
people.
know
And what
conservative.
would you say? Would you tell them to divorce it? Would you tell them to
Time
stick
out, time out.
along
You-
in an abusive relationship?
You say you
Look.
know conservative men right now that are beating their wives?
No, I'm saying that they probably exist.
And that is another liberal thing like, I know, bada bing, bada boom, but you really know? Well, but it probably exists. I'm like, why do you do that? Why? I can say that also, but there's probably gays going crazy, bada bing, doing kid things to kids, right? I'm not focusing on that, but it's like always this weird blaming. And then, hey, let's talk about the thing that we're blaming that doesn't really exist, but now you need to try to defend yourself about it.
Stick.
you're creating
Because
like
you
a-
guys are saying like no matter what happens, you stick in the marriage, even though it might be
But again,
really
to
like
go
mental
back,
damage
Melina,
and
so-
anything, right?
Why you
Melina, to
choose
go
your
back to the
partners
point,
wisely.
Nev, one second, to go back to the point that I was making, you know, encouraging people to go to church. If somebody's in a situation like that, this is a concern that ought to be brought before the church and taken care of with the elders and the other people that are there. And like, let's say John is beating his wife, right? And his wife comes to the church leadership and she's like, hey, like, this is a problem.
With two
I
black
want to
eyes,
divorce him.
like, hey,
you know,
this guy
at that
whooped my
point in
ass.
time, the church leadership can step in and be like, yo, John, why are you beating your wife?
Which honestly, I appreciate them asking. A lot of institutions wouldn't do that.
True.
Yeah.
There might be valid reasons.
And they
Yeah.
ought to. And this is
I've already told her twice,
This is a
like-
positive social pressure that comes with being a part of the body of Christ and like actually being involved, right? Like there's so many benefits to people seeking God and going to church and like being a part of a community like that, where a situation like you're describing arising, like there's going to be a ton of social accountability. But when people are atomized and they're separated from the rest of their community and stuff, and they're, you know, they have like a secular conservative home, you don't have that social net to like protect
People used to get lynched for doing things like that.
I think the issue is that, like, in the broadest, in the most macro, broadest sense, I think the big disagreements is it feels like on our side, it feels like we're talking about relationships like they're meant to be enjoyed, and you guys are talking about relationships like they're meant to be endured.
And I think he said it best in the end right there, or at least I'm ending it. I'll put the podcast. You can just watch the whole thing. But the thing is that there is a specific accountability in church in my experience. And even if we talk about emotional and physical abuse, I've never seen physical. I've seen the pastor talk about people that they might have helped because they might have traveled. Sometimes they see friends that don't believe that much in God, or they don't even go to the church. They go to their home. They don't mention the name, but they explain how they help these people in their situation. I'm not advocating it's normal. Hey, every relationship is going to have bam, 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 and emotional abuse. I'm not normalizing it, but I am normalizing in a way that when that happened, this is what we have done to help these people, because maybe they had a breaking point. Maybe they have seen trauma as a kid of their parents beating mommy, and they're like, oh, I thought it was normal. So you need to break that. And sometimes you can help people. But I don't like the idea that whenever you talk to a person that is in that situation, you see them immediately as a monster, the way they're portraying it, as if the moment you hear emotional abuse, you're going to think about something negative. It might go to physical, and you're going to handle it as if everything is going to be physical. It's like you're putting everybody in a box as if the most horrible people, and you start talking to them like they're the most horrible people. And I've seen it so many times. I'm not advocating for bada bing bang boom, but I know, or at least when I heard it, or the people, or the one person that I once helped for a reaction that he did, he never did it again. But I suggest that when you think you're going to explode, maybe that relationship is not something that you should endure. At least the men that I've helped, of the story that I've heard, you need to keep enduring being emotionally abused or physically abused, because it will end bad. And many of them ended in divorce. Because I would tell you to get a divorce 100%, but if you think you're going to hit somebody, I would suggest you divorce, because it's better that you divorce than go to prison. It's easy. But anyway, we're reaching the end. Let me know what you think and have a nice day. Peace. Let me know what you think.